Welcome back. This will be kind of a 2-day video. Most of them we had enough to do in a day to make a whole video, but today's a pretty light day. Got my helper here. My son's at Vacation Bible School right now. Gotta make sure this is raised up all the way. Beautiful. We're gonna go out and we're gonna start raking a little bit of hay tonight. We got 90 acres on the ground, or 89 acres, something like that. Quite a bit at least. Got that chain back tensioned on the mower. Yeah. Delivered 336 bales of alfalfa second cut to Indiana. That was about an hour drive. Unloaded that. Gotta make sure these are in line. There we go. Unloaded that, then hour drive home. Just got home from that. Unloaded a load of grass hay this morning. Been a pretty laid back day. A lot of work, but not really anything in the video. So here we are. We're gonna go out. We're gonna rake up some really thin stuff today. We mowed it yesterday. I would never be raking stuff on the day after, but I think this stuff, if it's not dry, it is what it is. We'll be at least getting it raked together a little bit to cut off some of the time tomorrow. I guess we're going to see how things go here, but yeah, I'd be surprised if there's maybe 5 bales an acre on the one portion of the one field. So that's why I feel like we can rake it and continue to try and windrow. Worst case scenario is we pick the bale until Friday. We got till Friday night into Saturday morning. Today's only Wednesday, so yeah, we'll see how things go here. At least I'm back in a nice air-conditioned tractor. You can see, jeans are stained green and all corrosion from the low hay. But one of these days, we're gonna get a bear and get away from all that. Man, they really chewed that pasture down. I think we're gonna pull them off of that again and just fence them off into that section and let this grow up whenever we get rain that we so desperately need. Talking rain this weekend, I sure hope they're right. I don't know what they're coming up to me here for. They got a bale of hay in. They're just getting picky. Beggars can't be choosers, you guys. Look at them girls. They're fat. I'm not worried about them. Man, those are some fat girls. I don't know if that's bellies on from feed on the ewes or if they're pregnant. I wouldn't think they'd start getting big already. Really don't. Because we just put the ram in no more than 2 months ago, so best case scenario, they're halfway through gestation, and that's conservative. I don't know if they breed that much out of season or not. That put us at like, what I figure, October, November lambing? Really early. Well, as you guys can see, there is not much out here. It's going to take a lot of rows to make anything. This is unfortunate, but we'll at least try to harvest something off of it. Well, I don't think I'm even going to rake that corner field. It's just disgusting how thin and short this is. You can see how far apart these rows are. These aren't even big rows. It just really stinks. Oh, thanks for throwing the trash out, folks. It's good hay otherwise. Probably knocked some leaves off by how many times we had to rake it over, but oh well, you get what you get at this point. Any hay's better than no hay. I hate this though. I really do. Got 4, maybe 5 rows here, maybe 100 bales off of 36 acres, 3 bale an acre. That'd be something, I guess. Hey guys, we're back, day 2. We're gonna start raking this 50 some acres here. You can see it has a lot of poorly mowed hay in it. I can't get this mower to mow right. I'm hoping it's just the auger, but I can't imagine why the auger would cause it to mow poorly. The only thing I can try next, which will look goofy, is to lift the front curtain up and just mow like that. And hope that maybe reduces some of the vacuum effect coming off of the crimpers in the head. I've heard that can help. But my understanding is maybe it's just blowing down the crop before it gets mowed. Because it's mowing really clean on the outsides of the mower. It's just where the windrow's laid or where the crimper's at seems to be mowing quite poorly. And it just bugs the crap out of me, and I can't stand it. It just looks like we're doing a very poor job, and that's not what I want to do. You know, I don't like having that image. You know, I try to take pride in my work and do things right, but at some point you need to just get stuff done, and good enough's good enough. But it sucks when people can see your mistakes. And anyhow, let's go rake some hay and try to push this in the back of our head here and hope for some rain and get this baled and just done and behind us. Because the other 36 acre field I raked yesterday, I'd be surprised if we got 100 bale out there. It's ugly. Just wanted to get it mowed. It was blooming. It was going to be even, you know,
it was no-win situation if I wait and it just gets mature and junk, because it wasn't going to grow or ton out anymore. So this might make a decent crop. I mean, not much at all per acre at all. No, I'm not trying to say there's a lot out here, but quality on this will be decent. There's enough here that's probably worth raking and baling. The other field, not so much, but I hate to see it go to waste. Like I said, I don't want people driving by and be like, well, he just mowed and didn't even bale it. What the heck's he doing? You know, like, who's this clown? I don't like that. I don't know if people actually talk that much or care what other folks do, but to me, I don't want people to get any idea or inkling that I'm not actually taking pride in my work and doing everything I can to do things right. So, you know, whether I lose a little bit on it or break even, it's better to do that than it is to get a bad image out there. At least in my mind, that's my take. So we're raking 4 swaths together. Actually looks like some really nice hay. Looks like some okay sized windrows. A little bit left to rake, but this stuff is pretty nice. It is just, it's not cured out yet. I don't know. I'm hoping it goes today. See some beautiful foxtail in it, some trash from the field, just garbage. This stuff stinks. Let's look at some of this hay though. It's beautiful. It stinks, there's foxtail in it, but otherwise it's amazing, beautiful hay. Wish there was more of it. Well, we're getting near the end of the field here. Just thoughts running through my mind here a little bit. I'm looking at these long-term forecasts. I got 4 different weather apps I'm looking at. Following meteorologists on Facebook and their predictions. This weekend looks like our next chance. We're going to get some rain. I said that last weekend, and we got just under 2/10. And they were calling for 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So a little shy there. I look at this one prediction, you know, and it just takes a snapshot of one portion of their predictive radar for this coming Saturday. And basically, I don't know, it covers the entire western side of Ohio, or at least from Dayton up to the Michigan border through Indiana, whatever. It covers a large portion, you know, you can see all the counties highlighted, and everything's green, there's some dark green, you know, and all this stuff, and it's like for 3 p.m. on Saturday, I don't know, or 8 a.m. Bigger time. I understand that there's pockets that pop in and get darker green or no green at all, and it's just, you know, like it's not getting rain. But that one screenshot he had for future radar, it showed my little section of the county, you know, like the township I reside in, not the county, because you can make out the counties and kind of visualize where the townships are, completely getting missed, as well as a couple townships to the north and south, which isn't a great deal. It's just one little small spot that wasn't green. But it just happens to be, you know, and we're spread out, don't get me wrong, but it just so happens to be almost every field that I'm making hay in is in that area where there's no rain. So I was like, are you kidding me? Granted, you know, if he took a screenshot maybe an hour earlier or later on that predictor, possibly we'd be maybe even dark green, or at least the light green, and then other areas maybe getting missed, or the whole Northwest Ohio is getting rain. I don't know. Either way, that was kind of disheartening. I don't really buy into it. I mean, I'm hoping we get rain, but it starts making me wonder, and it's hard not to make emotional decisions in the hay season. And I don't think the bale bearer, the accumulator, I gotta automate next year some way of doing the small square. A large portion of what's really driving me and lighting that fire under me is that emotional aspect of in season, right? Because like, you know, you're farming or whatever, I don't know, just name a pick, you got a mower, a baler, bill hook brakes on the baler, the baler's, I don't know, like a bushing's out on the flywheel of the baler, your joint goes out, you name it, and you just want to kick the tires and just say to heck with it, we're light a match, we need to upgrade, we didn't need a baler, everything's junk, we gotta buy new, finance all this. And I haven't been there yet this year. The baler's been pretty good, don't get me wrong. We've had a few things here or there, but nothing crazy. But it's hard not to just have all this hay on the ground, have something go wrong, or if you're mowing and just kind of just throw your hands up and be like, well, that's a piece of junk. And, you know, granted, I don't make decisions on what to buy in season. I'm not buying in season. I wait till we have inventory in the barn. I have cash flow projections for what that inventory is worth, and I know what we can afford to buy and purchase in the winter. Maybe there's better deals in hay season. Maybe the most expensive hay equipment is in this late spring through summer, because people know if you're buying something in season, you're desperate because you're trying to get in the field right away. I don't know what the best time to buy hay equipment is. All I know is for me, where I feel like I can make the best financial judgment, knowing if we're on a strong footing or not, if this can be justified, is when I know how much money we have in the bank and how much inventory in hay we have, and the hay season's done. You know, with the exception of maybe something going wrong in a loader tractor or skid steer, you name it, loading out hay in the summer or in the winter, sorry, or truck or trailer, maybe needs wheel bearings. You name it, like stuff can go wrong. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not mowing hay in December. I'm not raking hay in January. I'm not baling hay in February, right? Like all these pieces of equipment are in the barn, not really costing me any money at that moment. We're not, all our cash rent's already been paid. All of our inputs are kind of, I mean, if we're making some seed, maybe you're buying some seed. But at the end of the day, pretty much your cash flow in is pretty much just continuous as you're selling hay, and your outflow of cash, with the exception of maybe your truck that you're hauling hay with, or your loader you're loading out the hay with. Anything can happen, don't get me wrong. You have fewer moving parts for breakdowns to occur. You're not actually fertilizing or spraying fields. You just have a lot less outflow of cash. You're at a more stationary point of time. You have an idea where cash flow is going to be at. And it's just easier to make informed decisions on how you want to upgrade. And then at that time, maybe you have some acres lined up for the following year. And everything I knew, it's out the window now, because granted, we made more acres this year. We picked up some more ground. Got across a lot more acres than I was expecting, which is kind of how I go into every year. It's like, here's what I think we're going to have lined up. And based on what I think this ground will produce, this is what the cash flow projection is. But I think if this just barely covers, this piece of equipment, justifies it, or this, that, or you name it, right? If it does cover but barely, I'm like, all right, I'm pretty confident. Let's move forward with it if I feel like this is a big bottleneck that we need to resolve. Because every year we go into the season, say we have 100 acres, chances are we're making 200 acres of hay. If we have 200 acres of hay, chances are we're making 400. Just the acres come to you when you get into the season, which I'm not trying to complain, but it's really hard to make these projections, and then you end up making way more hay, or more customer comes to you. I don't know how many acres we had lined up this year. Basically, when I was making these purchases for equipment, I think I might have had maybe like 150, 200 acres lined up. We baled 420 acres in first cutting this year. Granted, we're in second cut. We're going to be like 150, 200. I don't know whether I got to figure out our acres. We're at 53 now. We had 36. Granted, the yield is absolutely junk. So essentially, I have 90 acres on the ground. But if it yielded like my home farm of alfalfa second cut did, oh shoot! I mean, we probably got more hay off the home farm, 21 acres, than the 90 acres down we have right now is going to produce. It's just abysmal. So it's like, then that throws that out the window. You end up making more hay, so you're way underestimating how much income you're actually going to have, how many acres you're actually going to have, because you end up gaining acres when you get into the season. Then we get into an abnormal year like we are right now, and you finish first cut and you're like, whoa, we're way over our projection, which is great. We have more acres to run. And then we get to where we are now, and then you just backpedal, and everything's back out the window again, and you can't make decisions. But with the one field of 36 acres, I was going to put grass in, interseed that. Now I'm thinking, do we need to tear the whole thing up and just start over? Autotoxicity and alfalfa means you can't just plant it right back to alfalfa, which is, if I can find some other alfalfa acres to kind of fill in that gap, that's fine. I wouldn't mind having more grass acres anyhow. So I might just work it all up and plant it all grass, rather than interseeding maybe 5 to 8 pounds of grass into an established stand. But I got to think through this. I want to talk to some other producers in the area, kind of where they're at on their second cut. Because I don't want that to be an emotional decision. Because I look at it right now, and 10, 12 acres of that field aren't even getting baled. I raked it, and it just wasn't even amounting to anything. I basically just mowed it to reset it and try to hope this rain comes, we can get it sprayed and get a nice third cut. That's basically what we're doing. But is it an emotional decision? Granted, I know this field's old, and it definitely could be replanted, but can we save it by putting some grass into it and carrying it for another year before maybe we just keep seeding grass in if we carry it for multiple years? I don't know. We have a 1-year renewal with the landowner on it. Could we just keep adding 5 to 8 to 10 pounds of grass every year for 2 to 3 years, and then just spray some sort of broadleaf killer out on 240? That's the only one I really don't sell. I'm sure there's a lot of others. I'm not a chemistry guy. But is there a broadleaf killer we can spray on to kill the alfalfa? Or or it might naturally kill out. Either way, and then just manage it as a grass field without actually having to work it up. Now that I have a disc, I have a cultipacker, I have to buy a drill again and rent a drill, or hire someone to drill it, or get a brilliant. Either way, I don't have the mechanism to plant it, but it's not like it's a lot of cost to go disc up and cultivate or cultipack ground. I don't mind that really, but having that alfalfa already established means I have something growing that's going to produce a nice first cut. So it's like part of me wants to maybe keep that because I plant grass in it. It's just I don't know how quick that'll establish this fall. I'm hoping to get a third cut off of it and then see where we're at. But I kind of need to order seed here soon, so it's like one of those. Is the lack of hay out there due to the drought driving me to an emotional decision to just abandon that stand altogether, or is this the right move? It is tired. It is old. It needs redone of something. I don't know. There's a lot of that nitrogen in the alfalfa put in the ground, which could really set us off good on some grass. I don't know. I mean, I will still fertilize for the grass and let the grass with nitrogen, but it'll definitely have a boost. Hopefully, for the alfalfa, is that even goes. Maybe that takes 2 years. I don't know. But there's things I think about, and I think we got some more putting feelers out there to hopefully get a few more acres next year. And this is just kind of disheartening, and sometimes you kind of wonder what the heck is all going on and why am I doing all this. And then on the flip side, a few rows later in Raking, here's 10 different ways we kind of push past this kind of setback, if you will, and be set up for an even better year next year. There's that hope, that inkling. I have a hard time not trying to plan and get excited about what's to come. On the flip side, you're kind of disheartened about where you are. Not to say, I'm sitting in a really nice tractor. I really love this. I'm not like complaining. I have a really nice rake behind me. We have, other than the rust, our 1-ton stuff, pretty nice truck. It needs tires and brakes, and it's got some rust. But maybe we drop a bed on it. Don't have to worry about the rust of the bed. Anyhow, we have some pretty nice stuff, and I'm very grateful for that. We have a really nice barn. Really grateful for that. When you have all these projections and things you're trying to do, and you have these plans, I planned 2 to 3 years out. It's like, all right, so if this year we automate some of the big squares, is there money in the budget to try to get another gooseneck in there, and or maybe go to a semi or a straight truck with a pintle hitch trailer? I mean, I want to improve our hauling. That's another thing for next year. And then, does that mean 2027 growing season? Then 2028, I'm looking forward already. It's like, I know we can't do a closed cap skid steer this year because if we automate the square bales and include some sort of trucking, unless somehow we pick up 500 acres of some 1 ton an acre fourth cutting this year, and we get for virtually nothing, and we get to sell it for 400 a ton. I don't see there being the money in the budget to upgrade anything more than just the small square automation, whether it be an accumulator or bundler, and then maybe if there's money left over to go and upgrade the trucking side, the hauling side. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure where that's all going to go, but I'm already planning like something 2027. This year's 26 and 27 would be those 2 things. And 28, I'd love to have air conditioned skid steer. Or maybe we look at a wheel loader. If there's really a ton of money there and we found the right deal, a telescoping wheel loader would be really cool. Or a telehandler, an ag spec one. I don't want the construction really massive. I want more of a compact, good visibility, something that's more nimble to maneuver around the barnyard and in the barn. That's a 2028. That's kind of our pipe dream. And at that point, I don't know what else is going to happen. Wouldn't mind getting another rake. I like this rake. Wouldn't mind to get an identical one to this, and then have my wife come out and help rake when we're in those bigger days. But all in all, I really like the tractors we have now. Maybe 2028 we switch some things up and we get a 4th tractor. Because for the most part, we've only ever run 3 tractors in the operation. And typically, it's primarily just, especially when I got this one, I've been spending all my time in this Puma 130. It's got the nicest air conditioning, suspended front axle cab. It's just really comfortable. Now the Puma 140, the AC isn't as good. I don't know if the blower fan needs replaced or the compressor needs recharged. I think they'll say on the blower fan, just not giving the airflow. Some of the vent thing needs replaced. But either way, neither here nor there. If we go and get like a T7, a Magnum, if there's money, if we're going that new, I'm just speaking, in theory, right? That very well could be I can find a nice old white 6195. I don't know, something on the big square baler on, put the Puma 140 on the round baler, and then leave this on a small square baler, or the white stays. There's a lot of moving around, but I wouldn't mind maybe going to like 160, 180 horse tractor to run the big square baler and possibly be up This year we haven't run a ton. I was expecting this year to do a couple thousand. I don't think we're over 600 or 700 right now. We might push 1,000. I'm not sure. But everything's way down because, you know, I was hoping that big square bale, several hundred big squares in second cut, and I don't even think I have enough second cut to small square bale at this point. This is going to be almost a bookend right here. I mean, we got 9 more acres, but this is about wrapping up our second cut. I have 9 more acres to mow, but that's shoot. There's only going to be a few hundred bales there. If there's even 300, there might only be 200 bales, 150, I don't know. But certainly not much. That'll be a pretty easy. My big square bale, the 20 acres of clover, we have left to do a second cut. Those are the only 2 fields left. 9 acres of alfalfa, 9 acres, 20 acres of clover. That clover, last I looked at it, was pretty thin, and I just got a call from the grandson of the landowner of that field. That was a few days ago. He says it's already good brown and going to seed, and he's not even sure it's worth going back to. And I'm not trying to say, you know, like I'm not a good manager of the acres we're running. That field's just on the other side of the river and further away. And I just don't ever get out there very often unless I'm actually going on my way to look at it. You know. So I'm basically, once I get done this field here and get caught up, I got to go pay for some straw we baled, and then we're basically paid up on everything, and then I might go look at that field. See if it's even worth driving all the way out there to even bale. Otherwise, that field might get abandoned for the rest of the year. I don't know, but I was planning a big square bale that 20 acres. But as thin as it is, shoot, there might only be 20 big squares out there, and that's hardly anything. Shake a stick at, you know, like it's something. I'm not trying to complain, but fuel ain't free. You gotta make sure you're covering your costs. That's kind of a really tough thing. We get to these times, and it's like, what's the management decision, you know? And I worry, you know, too much maybe what other people think. Especially worry too much what other people think for somebody who's putting everything out there on YouTube. But I'm mostly, you just never know. You know, I got some fields on some pretty well-driven roads, and I'm like, I got to make sure we do a good job because I don't know who's going to drive by and what they're going to think. And you never know. There might be prospective landowners, and I've never had. I don't know if I have. I can't say someone just called me out of the blue and said, hey, I got 50 acres of alfalfa. Usually I put feelers out, not necessarily like, hey, is that field some, you know, but like there's these relationships I already have, and people probably know that I'm, you know, who I am and something about me, but you just never know. It's like you always want to have that best image out there because even if it doesn't lead to more opportunity, you know, even when I get to a certain scale where I'm happy where we're at, we're not actively looking for more ground, I still want to put out the best foot forward that we can, so that probably won't ever change, I guess, but I just don't like to think of having things look bad. And you can see behind me, it actually doesn't look bad, but it looked horrible after I mowed. It looked horrible before I raked. You see all those little green things I got mixed with the mower, and it just bugs the crap out of me. I just don't like doing a poor job, and sometimes good enough's good enough, and it's just one of those. I don't know if we resolved the issue on the mower or what we did. Yeah, that's some ramblings here. I don't know. Hopefully you enjoyed watching the rig behind me if you don't like listening to talk. Yeah, let's just hope this bale's up here today and makes a nice hay. We got 7 wagons emptied out of the 8. I got 1 loaded yet. I don't feel like unloading, but if this isn't ready to bale into soon, maybe I won't spend the time to unload that wagon to have it available. It's just you know, like I said, it's a constant yo-yo. I'm excited for what's to come and what we might be able to accomplish, but also kind of somewhat disappointed with the situation we're in, and it's hard not to kind of get down to the dumps a little bit when you have all these plans and you think you did everything right, and you can't control the weather, and the weather at the end of the day has the final say in how crops do. You know, I don't know if it was a president or someone who had this quote, but basically mankind, despite all of its accomplishments and achievements, owes its entire existence to a 6-inch layer of topsoil and the fact that it rains. And it's, I don't know if there's much truer words spoken than that, because it doesn't matter just how far mankind can come. I guess the only people who can kind of counteract that quote would be those western guys with irrigated acres, I guess. But even then, the underground aquifers got to be recharged somehow. And I'm assuming that's coming from the sky, because I don't know any other way water's getting down there. So, I mean, it's coming through snowpack and however you want to call it. I'm not a western guy, but they heavily depend on irrigation, so they have some benefits that we don't. But eventually those aquifers run dry if we don't get rain, and I don't know how long they have reserves on that. make do what we have here. This is nice hay. Let's take advantage of it, and let's hope this weekend gives us.
All right, it's all raked up. Let's see how much room there is here between these rows. 4 together, that's almost 80 feet. It's over 70 feet into one row. And yeah, I was just reading another meteorologist post on Facebook, and it sounds like this is going to be a more widespread system coming in, I guess. I guess new forecasting data or something. I don't really know. It sounds like it's going to be more an all-day thing, and he's thinking 3/4 of an inch being possible, with some localized areas being more than that. So let's hope, because we need it. This isn't all bad. I mean, this isn't all good, but I suppose it could be worse, I guess. I guess if there's people from out west watching, they might think this is a pretty decent crop for us, but we're in Ohio, where usually we don't have this much of a shortage of rain. You know, we don't have the differentiation between dry land and irrigated. You know, everything around here is, I guess, dry land. We have people spending thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in subsurface drainage trying to get water out of the fields. Not to say we don't have dry portions of the year almost every year. This isn't the Amazon rainforest or anything, you know, but we certainly don't have this long spread dry portions very often. It's very localized where we're at right now. It's so dry, and I hope we pull out of it and things turn. But I'll probably be back with another video in a month saying, well, the freaking rain won't shut off. I can't get in the fields to make any hay. It's just, this is awful. But I suppose you never complain about the rain, and I'll try not to. Right now I'll take whatever we can get, but this spring, when it just kept raining for 3 weeks, it's like, man, we're never gonna get back in to make hay. But seems like we get both sides of the coin in the same year. It's not very often. I'm just ready for a normal year, with normal production, normal weather patterns, if there is such a thing. But this certainly is just abnormally wet to start out and abnormally dry through the middle. Let's hope the end of the season just turns to typical, I guess. There's some beautiful hay, man. Oh my. Might have to charge more for this, but in the foxtail we're going to charge less. Well, this field here is still a little tough. It's on the way to the other one. I wasn't going on my way to check it. My wife just got done checking the other field. She dropped us at here. This field's right on the way, so I'm like, oh, I'll pull in here and check it too. Still a little tough. I don't know if we'll get this bale tonight. We only got 6 wagons. We got all 8 wagons empty now, but I don't think we'll need more than 6. So yeah, we'll see how things go here. I'm taking 2 with me. I know I only need 1, but I don't feel like I'm hooked into 1. It don't take much to keep 2 hooked up. So yeah, hopefully we can get into this field tonight. We can almost have everything baled today. We'll see if it's cured. I don't know. This is gonna be tight to get this one cured out in time. And baling questionable hay is never a good thing, but heavy dew and then coming in and burning it, losing color is never fun either. So oh well, we'll get her baled. Well, I made it to this farm. Look at these massive windrows every 80 feet or more. Awesome. Feels pretty dry though. Quality's decent. Knocked a lot of leaves off just raking this many together, and we did it yesterday, the day after we mowed. About 24 hours after mowing, it was getting raked together. It's just oh well. I don't want to keep talking poorly about the situation we're in, but it's hard not to. All right, let's drop the hip pickup on the baler, and we're gonna get baling. I know we don't need that wagon, but all right, we're baling. That's one downside. You bale with 30 windows, and then you got the shade. You can't really see what's going on in your pickup. I can't imagine we're gonna overfeed this thing. We're going at 9th gear. It's pumping them out pretty quick, so. Jeez, we're gonna need to get out and check how heavy these are. I feel like these got to be pretty loose if they're that fast coming out. We'll get one more out and check. There we go. They don't look very tight to me. Well, I just turned the cranks on the sides a little bit, and then I got a little dial for the hydraulic down pressure on the chamber. By the time I get this dialed in, we'll be done baling. So we'll check at the end of this row. Well, 67 bales on the wagon. What a big day of baling we got here on this 36-acre farm. Oh, jeez. That ain't even 2 bale an acre. That's ugly. Yeah, well, at least it's done.
Man, I've never baled 36 acres so fast in my life. But, oh well. Sure hope the weathermen are right and we get that rain.